In the video I just dropped on Tony Accardo, I was talking about River Forest where he had lived, and we're going back to River Forest for this story because a woman had suffered a head injury, as being reported by CWB Chicago, when she tried to stop carjackers from taking her BMW while her two kids were inside. Now, River Forest is a nice suburb to the west of Chicago. I don't know if every property over there is expensive, but you need some type of money, most people, I think, to live over there. And it's an example of how a lot of the carjackings in Chicago are going on in parts of the metropolitan area around the city that are very wealthy and are not typically touched by crimes. I've seen carjackings go down up in the North Shore, and then they'll find the cars, down in the city somewhere or in other suburbs or wherever it might be. Kids as young as 11, 12 are going out and doing this carjacking thing. 2 men and 2 juveniles are now charged with the crime, so the juveniles are not named, but the report said the woman stepped out of her BMW X7. And she had an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old that were inside at around 5 p.m. on August 15th. Both kids were still in the car when the 2 men and the 2 juveniles jumped in and drove away, but her boys and a dog were still inside the vehicle. So she ran after the SUV and tried to open the rear door, but she lost her footing and fell, striking her head. Doctors closed the cut on her forehead with 7 stitches. The kids and the dog got out, and the carjackers escaped with the vehicle. So the kids did get out. Had the kids still been in there, it would have been a lot more serious. But CBD's Carjacking Intelligence Center tracked the BMW on plate readers on the Dan Ryan Expressway. So this was one of the things they were talking about as far as the expressways and the expressway shootings. And the cameras on the expressways, and I think most people were in favor of cameras on the expressways. But anyways, they got the plates on the expressways, and the automaker provided live GPS data, and it allowed the state troopers and the Chicago police to locate the vehicle at a gas station near 43rd and State. So the BMW sped away when the police arrived, but it crashed about a block away, and the cops arrested the occupants. So the people who were charged were a guy named Sean Istri, he's 19, and Malik, he's 22. And then 2 juveniles were not named because they're under 18. But people that are carjacking these cars with kids inside, you got to realize that if you get caught with those kids inside, if you don't take the kids out of the car first, if you get caught with those kids inside, you're going to be facing kidnapping. In the tragic scenario that something should happen to one of those kids, like during the course of the carjacking, you could be looking at like second-degree murder or manslaughter. So even if it wasn't intentional, and this is of a child. So, I would think long and hard before doing a carjacking, period. But then doing a carjacking with kids inside the car, I've seen this happen a lot. A woman parks her car, she's bringing in her groceries, she's got the baby still in the car, people jump in the car, take off with the baby still in the car. Sometimes they've stopped the car at a local house and just, taken the baby out of the car and put him on the front step of somebody's house. They've done various things, but that's a really, really bad idea. You're looking at way more serious charges than just carjacking. Plus, what are you going to do with the kids? When you go to sell the car or when you go to do whatever you're going to do with the car, what are you going to do with the kids? At some point, you've got to take those kids out that car. So you might as well do it before you even take the car. Obviously, it's better not to take the car at all, but these guys are out here risking their lives doing this, man. Like their own lives, the lives of other people. It's one of the most dangerous hustles I've ever heard of. But a lot of guys who are doing this are off drugs and stuff, and it's the usual stuff. But anyways, good thing the kids are okay. Okay, then we had a solution to a murder case that I had mentioned a while back, and I got the footage of the spot in this video. This is the park where it happened. It was around 4:10 a.m. on July 14th. There was a murder on a baseball diamond in Uptown, and this has now been solved. There was a guy who was dressed in a gas mask. He was wearing a bicycle helmet, a dark suit jacket, white shorts, gloves, and a Hawaiian shirt, and he was carrying a bag full of knives. His name was Anthony Colon, and he was on the red line, okay, on the L. That's it for people outside Chicago. That's the train in Chicago. You guys have seen me on the red line a lot, like taking footage of the city from the red line. So there was a commuter who noticed this guy Anthony Colon. He was 26 years old. He posted a Snapchat video of him on the train. Officials say that Colon threatened the Snapchatter with a staple gun when he saw what they were doing. And by the way, guys, if you're going to do that, people have done that to me before. Like they've been like taking videos of me, and like uploading it to Instagram, uploading it to Facebook and stuff like that's kind of a bad idea because not everybody is cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've gone online. There was one time I was hooping over at Calvin Park High School, and like there was some video of me like hooping with these students on YouTube that I didn't even know about. You know what I'm saying? Some student had recorded it. Like students record everything. That's not really a good idea. Some people, you know, they don't like that. But anyways, officials say that Cologne threatened this guy with a staple gun when he saw what they were doing. So the commuter calmed Cologne down by complimenting his Darth Vader wristwatch until Cologne exited the train downtown. So around 4:10 a.m. the following day, is being reported by CWB Chicago, on July 14th, this guy Anthony Cologne put his arm around a 64-year-old homeless person. The homeless person's name was Ed, and they were walking towards Clarendon Park in Uptown together. So this was while it was still dark. So about an hour later, the sun was coming up, and somebody who was passing by found Ed stabbed to death on the baseball diamond of the park. So this Wednesday, prosecutors charged Cologne with the murder. So it's not on camera going down, but he had a bag of knives, awfully suspicious. He was the last person seen with this homeless guy. And there's a homeless encampment over there. I didn't want to put the camera on them too much, but there's a lot of homeless people that sleep by that park. So I don't know if Ed was from there or what. They've been moved around a few times due to like debates about where they should be, like with the residents of Uptown. I feel kind of bad for them. They were under the bridge for a while. They got moved out of there. And not having a cover over your head, like when you're homeless, you're not having some type of bridge or something, that's really rough because, you know, when it's pouring rain, when it's snowing, stuff like that's very difficult, you know, when you're homeless. But anyways, about 14 minutes after they walked into the park together, Cologne emerged alone. He was walking towards the Wilson CTA station, which is another spot you guys have seen in a lot of my videos. So there were surveillance videos that showed that he had stopped along the way to remove his white shorts, which had large blood stains. Okay, and he held the shorts in the air before tossing them into the street. He entered the CTA station holding a knife. There was blood visible on his arm, and he took the red line downtown. So Chicago police allegedly found Cologne's suit, his jacket, his gas mask, his bike helmet, and his Darth Vader watch scattered around the baseball diamond where Ed was found dead. So there was a broken serrated knife, actually several serrated knife blades, and intact knives that were like all over the field. The police records show that officers arrested Cologne around 7 p.m. that night after they received 911 calls about a man exposing himself to kids at a playground on the far north side. When they found him, CWB Chicago says that he was wearing the Hawaiian shirt. In one of the gloves, he was surrounded by a circle of knives and pliers that were plunged into the ground around him. He had a staple gun in his bag. He was taken in for a psychiatric exam. He tested positive for amphetamine, cannabinoids, and benzodiazepines. And I told you guys, man, the drugs. The drugs, the drugs, the drugs. What TYMB Money Man was saying when he was asked why things are so crazy in Chicago, he said blame it on the drugs. He is not lying, man. So police guarded him at the hospital. He allegedly made statements about murdering someone. So his mom says he has a history of mental illness and drug use. He's been in Cook County Jail since being released from the hospital because he stopped complying with conditions of probation sentence that he received for felony aggravated battery of a peace officer last year. So at the end of his bail hearing on Wednesday, the judge ordered him held without bail on a charge of first-degree murder. And whoever his cellie is, better watch out. You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, well, he's not going to be on his drugs. At least we hope not, in Cook County Jail. So maybe that'll change him a little bit, but and you definitely got to be careful with this guy because he has a history of some crazy stuff, man. But definitely stay off that dope, kids. If it doesn't kill you, like it's done to so many rappers and other people that you don't even hear about, it might make you do something like insane, you know, that might end up messing your life up and messing up a bunch of other people's lives. Definitely not worth it. Like kids start using that stuff because of depression. They feel empty inside, but the drugs doesn't solve that. It just covers it up. It just distracts them from it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't believe in God, so they don't pray, they don't turn to Him. They don't start helping other people. They just turn inward and they start just like destroying themselves to try to solve this problem. And it just ends up making it worse. Because when it wears off, man, that emptiness feels even deeper than it was before. So, Anyways, man, yeah, I would definitely stay away from the dope because whatever feeling you're getting off of it is not worth the long term consequences. I don't know anybody that's done that stuff and is like glad that they did it later. Like years later, they're talking about, like, I'm glad I did dope back in the day. No, never heard that even one time in my life. Everybody, when you say report, I'm out.